Ready?
Yes.
Hi, this is Tina Gately with the Henrico Democrats. This is a quick overview of our poll greeter training. It's not the full training that you would get if you come in to one of our live um, trainings. So today I'm just going to hit the basics. So you'll hear three types of poll workers. There are the inside poll workers, which are hired through the county. They work all day, they get paid. There are the poll um, observers who usually come from the DPVA or outside organizations, and they're looking for voter protection. But what we are training for are the poll greeters. These are through Henrico County Democrats. They're typically 3-hour shifts, although many people have chosen multiple shifts. And your main priority is to hand out sample ballots, to greet the people at the polls, and to ensure that everything is going okay on the day of the election. So you will, if you have signed up, get a packet. The people who signed up for the 5:45 a.m. shift will get a packet and signs that they're going to be responsible for putting out at the precinct that they're working at. The packet has the number on it. It will have several pieces of paper in it that will help you. And it once again hits the highlights of what you should and shouldn't do. There is instructions on how to dress the polls, which is what we say when we're saying put the signs up. And there also will be some numbers on the front of the package that have like a number you can call if you run out of ballots or you need help. That's your troubleshooter. Or if you feel that someone is not able to cast a ballot, or there are reasons that people votes are being suppressed, and that would be the voter protection number. These numbers will be on the front of your packet. They'll be inside also. So the basics that we want you to know is that you can you are the face of the candidate and the party on this day. So we ask that you dress casually, professionally. You can wear your candidate t-shirt, you can wear buttons, you can really go all out for your candidate, but you have to stay past the 40-foot marker that says no campaigning past this point. Some people are bringing tables, some people are bringing canopies, which is really helpful if it rains. Some people have chairs. So all these things are different at every precinct because every precinct has different parameters. Like sometimes you're in a parking lot, you can't set up a lot of stuff. Sometimes there just isn't a lot of space. So if you're going to a place you're familiar with, you'll really know what you can set up and what you can't. So you're allowed to do all of that past the 40-foot point. Some people do like to bring candidate lit, but that's not really our responsibility. Our responsibility is we're going to have sample ballots, which for people in Tuckahoe, 3 Chopt, and parts of Fairfield, we'll just have a quarter sheet of paper. We'll have Senate, Tim Kaine, and a little bubble marked 7th District, Abigail Spanberger, a little bubble marked, and the 2 constitutional amendments, which the Democratic Party is saying yes for both. If you're in the 4th District, you'll once again have a quarter sheet of paper. Senate is Tim Kaine, 4th District is Donald McEachin, and the 2. If you are in Brooklyn, Brooklyn has a special election this year, and that one's going to have a little bit bigger piece of paper because you have a column that has Senate and 7th District. You will have a column that has the constitutional amendments, and way over on the edge you will have the Board of Supervisors, one which is Dan Schmidt and one is Daniel Plugger, and neither has a party beside the name. So in Brooklyn, it is very important to be giving out the sample ballots. It is the only way people will know who the Democrat is on the ballot. And it's a really good way for people to actually see that next voting part, because a lot of people are going to miss it. So we ask that you hand out, you can say, would you like a Democratic sample ballot? And make sure you point out that there is a Board of Supervisors race on the edge. So once again, you can do all of that past the 40-foot point. There'll be a marker set out in the morning by the poll chief, And you can cross that point for several reasons. If you're at your precinct, you can cross to go in to cast your own vote, and you can wear your campaign shirts and buttons to cast your own vote. You can go in to introduce yourself to the poll chief or the person at the door when you arrive, and just say, hey, I'm going to be handing out ballots out front, just wanted to know who I was. And you can go in usually to use the bathroom. Typically, though, if you go in for any other reason, you have got to cover your campaign lit. You can put a jacket on, a sweater on. If you're wearing double shirts, you can take the shirt off. So those things will all work. The other things that you're going to be helpful for is that you're there in case there are any trouble. So if someone pulls up and they have they're having trouble getting to the polls, you can say, do you want curbside voting, which is offered in Virginia? And if they say yes, the chiefs usually like having the people outside to come alert the person at the door, alert the chief, and then go back to your spot. And you can just say, there's someone out here requesting curbside vote. We do have, last year, we had some really energized people that were asking people in wheelchairs and walkers, kind of insisting, do you want curbside? And we did have one request that we ask once and then really respect what the people say, because some people just want to go inside and cast their vote at the machine. Let's see. You will have in your package, beside the poll dressing for the first people, if you have an 8 o'clock shift or later, the polls will already be dressed. All polls will be taken care of before 6 a.m. You'll have your election day do's and don'ts. This will be emailed to you. Or in the packet, it's the proposed constitutional amendments. And you'll have an incident report. An incident is if you see something happening that that really makes you pause, like somebody leaves and says, I didn't get to vote today, or something's happening, fill this out, call your troubleshooter, the troubleshooter should come get it and send it to the next person. We really don't want you spending a lot of time on this, especially if there's a poll observer there. Let them handle that. Your job is to get the ballots to people's hands, and if you're filling out an incident report, there's a good chance it's going to take 15 or 20 minutes, which means a lot of people are going to pass by and not get those sample ballots. We also have, occasionally people are going to not have their ID. There should be an example of ID that are acceptable posted at the precinct, but occasionally people don't have them. If somebody leaves and they seem upset, you can say, oh, is there a reason you're upset? And if they say they didn't let me vote, I didn't have my ID, you can tell them that they can cast what's called a provisional ballot. Provisional ballots, as long as they get their ID back to the registrar's office before Friday at noon, then their vote counts. And we ask that you try to get their name and ID, name and some kind of contact information, and someone from the party will call them and make sure that they get their ID and to get their vote counted. All right, so that should be all of that. Typically, if you have a problem at the poll, your number one thing is, have you talked to the poll chief? They are in charge of the parking lots, they're in charge of the actual voting parts, and they can usually take care of things. If you feel like the poll chiefs for some reason are not taking care of the problem, or if you feel that something's happening, please feel free to call the troubleshooters or call the voter protection hotline, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. If you think someone, they said I'm not on the poll books, you can help them by checking two common sites are VPAP, VPAP.org, or vote411.org, and suggest they check on their phones and just make sure they're registered and see if they're registered for that precinct. If someone is registered for a different precinct and casts a provisional at the wrong one, it just doesn't count no matter what. And typically they won't do that. Let's see. If you run out of ballots, the troubleshooter is the one that you should call. Sometimes what we do is we tell people, if you want to give this back to me after you vote, or you can bring a little box and people can drop them at your feet to recycle them. It really helps. We try to cut as close as we can, we estimate, because printing costs can run in the thousands of dollars. So we really want to recycle these and really reuse so we don't run out. Another one is that if you see somebody come up and they ask you, they say, I can't see very well, or I have really bad arthritis, I can't fill the bubbles out, can you come in and help me? Give them to the door and let them know there is a special machine, a disability voting machine that helps in those cases. They should be at all the polls. They're not used a lot, but people should be able to vote in that way. And a couple closing thoughts is we ask that poll greeters not speak to the press, to remember to smile and be pleasant, to try not to engage, whether it's a friendly, chatty person or whether it's someone trying to get you upset. If you're engaging with someone, you're not handing the ballots out. If you see someone come in with a different ballot, you can always say, hey, would you like a Democratic ballot? Would you like to see a second choice? Our ballots will be blue. White and yellow ballots are not allowed inside the polls. Typically, the Republicans do red ones, just color coding. And if you have a teenager, we ask that all teens under 18 be with a parent or adult at the polls on election day. So if you're a teenager that signed up, please either contact me, Tina Gately, or bring a parent or guardian with you on the day of. And we're also going to ask that all poll workers, poll greeters, check into their troubleshooters when they get to their poll. So just a quick text to that troubleshooter number that'll be on the front of your package with this is your name, I'm at precinct, I'm here. So just to let us know so we know. That's really my quick overview. If you want more information, please email me. I have a live training coming up on the Sunday before the election, and good luck and have fun.
And that's a cut.